since his time began. Wrong side paranormal seeks the truth, looking for some kind of real proof. Creepy floorboards and eerie dark mist. Grab your camera and document this. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadowed hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s, or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the wrong side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadowed hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s, or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. The icy air touches your neck. You feel like screaming, but you stay in check. Orbs rising up to take the magical flight. You can't believe what's happening tonight. Don't run, don't try to hide. We are catching this all on the raw side. Don't run, don't try to hide. We are catching this all on the raw side.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing? Thanks for joining us tonight. I know it's an hour later, but I accommodated our guest because of her work. So I made it at 8 o'clock instead. I'm glad you guys all could hang with us. Hello, Leanne. Hi, Dragon. 420 Witch. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Dragon Ranger. Hey, Ryan. How's it going? Hello, Sandra and Sir Palm. How's it going? Let's see who else. I'm going to keep it going. Let's see. I just don't want to miss anybody. Pinky, there you are. I knew that you were in there somewhere. And Miss Caroline, welcome as always. Parasolo, hello. And I think I caught everybody. If I didn't, just give me a shout out and I'll say your name and say hello. Thanks everybody for joining. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody had a great Wednesday. It was a beautiful day here today. I got some stuff accomplished, which is great. Oh, good to hear it, Ryan. And I just, it was great to at least get something accomplished. It was a busy day. So I hope everybody had a really great day. Just to let you guys know, I'll be doing morning brew tomorrow morning at 9. So hopefully you guys will come and hang out for a cup of coffee and some, bullshitting. You know how it goes. Without further ado, I would like to add our guest, Kara from Spectral Whispers. Let's get her on here. Hello, Miss. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Excellent.
I'm glad that you could join us. Excuse me. I got a frog on my phone for some reason, guys. Ribbit. Jeez. Pretty rough. But so, you're doing good. You had a good day, I hope.
Well, I mean, it was long, but I'm home and that's all that matters.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that is a long day. Oh, my goodness. Yikes. You probably want to go to bed, not hang out here.
No, I won't be able to do that for another couple hours. So, I mean, I'm good. I'm with you.
All right. So if we hear you snoring, we'll just kick you backstage. That's all right. I feel you. I know how it is. How's it going, Miss Steph? Megan behind Blue Eyes, member for two.
Hey,
Oh, thank
sister.
you. Thank you for being a member, Megan. I really appreciate it, guys. I really do. Every little bit helps with the channel. It's, YouTube makes it really rough on us. And it just, so anything that, you guys do is a blessing. And I appreciate each and every one of you. The wrestling was great. Yes, it was. It was awesome. I hope everybody got a chance to watch that. Poor Bureau lost his belt, a
Nice to meet
time,
you too, Leanne.
time for mourning. Before we get going and asking, Kira, I'm saying it correctly. Am I right, Kira?
Yes. Yep.
Um, I just want to have a moment of silence for that poor young man, Charlie Kirk, who was gunned down during an event that he was doing in Utah.
That was horrifying.
And yeah, the poor man lost his life
Oh
and left
God.
behind a wife and two babies.
Yeah.
So, just keep the family in your prayers. I would appreciate it. It's just horrible. I mean, the funny thing is, my father and I were just talking about this, how you can't even go anywhere without worrying about somebody popping a cap in your ass. I mean, store, church, anywhere. There's some lunatic out there with a gun, and it's
Yep.
awful. It's just awful.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, was moving so missed it. I'll have to rewatch the play. Oh, okay, that's right. Oh, that's right. Dragon moved in. Are you all moved in and happy? I hope so. It's always fun to move into a new place, even though I hate the moving process. It sucks, but excuse me. I saw the video and his poor family. Yeah, it was terrible. I was terrible. I won't be able to stay long at work. Wanted to drop in and show my support. Oh, I really appreciate it. 420. I really do.
Yes, we
Um,
do.
Okay, Kara, tell us about yourself first, and then we'll jump into Spectral Whispers, and then your information about the Lizzie Borden place. Who is Kira?
Well, I'm a paranormal investigator. That's where I started some, 14 or so years ago now. Yeah, about that. And like I said, I've been at it about 14 years. I've been to, quite a few big name places, quite a few places that nobody's ever heard of. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Also a medium, psychic. I think, well, if you're a medium, you're a psychic. That's just how it is, and I guess that's what I'm told anyway. Um, but yeah, so and I had to be told that, but apparently, I got that gift from my dad. Thank you, Dad. And yeah, so then I live in Massachusetts, so of course, everything around here that's paranormal is all me. And I live about 20 minutes to a half hour tops from the board and bed and breakfast. So I mean, that's just that little bit more on my list. So
Wow,
yeah.
pretty cool. So, how did you come up with the name Spectral Whispers?
Well, spectral because the ghosts and whispered that it was the whole medium thing. It was that's basically what I hear are spectral whispers. And I've had that name for 13 years. About that, yeah.
Fantastic.
Hmm.
Fantastic. Okay, tell us about some of the places that you've been to. You said you've been to some of the famous places and some just local and unknown places, which we've all heard about the famous places, but I really love hearing about the places that we don't know about. What was probably the best place that you've been to so far?
The one that gave me the most experience, I would have to say, would be Slater Mill in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Okay, never heard of that one.
It's actually a very interesting place. I was both oppressed and touched by a ghost.
Amazing.
That
Wow.
was my bird. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
But yeah, that's like I said, Slater Mill in Rhode Island. Another good one that I went to, the Palmer House Hotel in Sauk Center, Minnesota. Uh,
Okay.
I also got a press there. That was fun.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. And, it's just from being a paranormal investigator, I go right down the list. I've been poked, prodded, pressed, pinched, stabbed. I actually got stabbed at Eastern State Penitentiary,
Oh, wow.
but stabbed by us on death row. That was fun.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Welcome in, everybody. Got a couple of new Chasing Justice. Nice to see you. You're new here. Thank you for
Oh,
popping
these
in
are
and
all
joining
my
us.
friends. Hey,
Oh,
girls.
hey, and
Yeah, yeah, I brought them along. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry if I screw it up. Is it Paisley?
It's Paisley.
Okay, hey, yay, woo for me. I did I didn't butcher it though. Okay, welcome, girls. How the hell did you get stabbed? And oh my god, did it leave like were you bleeding or what happened?
You know, I thought I was. It was weird. So I was on death row at Eastern State Penitentiary. And let me know if you lose me a little bit because I'm moving
Okay.
around the house so I can get a little more silence.
Okay.
Okay, so we were checking out death row. As a matter of fact, the picture. Well, I don't have it now because I couldn't find it. But the picture that you shared in your thumbnail, my YouTube picture came from that excursion
Oh,
because
okay.
I was with Aaron Goodwin from Ghost Adventures,
Okay.
and we were just like, I was kind of hanging back a little, just checking things out. And there's a kind of a fence that stops you from actually going all the way down into death row. So I was just kind of standing against it, and I could feel like the cool air coming at me. I was like, all right. So I like backed up a little bit, and then I turned around, and I felt this like course of energy just rushing at me, and just I could feel cold metal like stabbing into my stomach, and then I could feel the blood dripping down my stomach. And I
Oh.
like backed up against the wall, like, what the heck just happened? And I'm like falling down, like, oh my God, I just got stabbed and I'm dying. And I reached in and I touched it and there was nothing there.
Oh,
And I
that's
was fine.
wild. You were
So I get
shanked.
up, right? No, this is, so I get up. They were doing an EVP session. And we were going around, they're like, okay, everybody ask one question. We'll go like 5 questions and then we'll listen. So at that point, it was like they were on their last session of questions. And there was 4 questions already asked, and I jumped up, and I was like, "Did somebody just stab me?" And they went and played it back. Right, and the other 4 questions, nothing. You could hear me yelling, "Did somebody just stab me?" And you hear, "I did it."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I had a copy because it was somebody else's uh, recorder that they were
Right.
using. But so I wish I had a copy of that. But yeah, loud and clear, you could hear, "I did it."
Oh, well, they should have shared that with you. I mean, you're the one that had the
Yeah,
experience.
yeah,
That's
right,
a bummer.
right.
Wow. Welcome, Amy. I think I'm saying that correctly. Everybody spells their names differently, so it's just a shout out there. Um, so yeah, well, I've heard that where people have gone to that place and have experienced some kind of a physical contact.
Yes.
Did
Yeah.
it scare you enough to make you not want to go back there, or do you want to go back?
No, that just made the fires burn even hotter. Like, yes, this is why I'm here. This is what
Right.
I'm looking for. This is what I want. Yes, give it to me.
Fantastic. Are you in a large group, or how many people are in your group, or is it just yourself?
For that was with, well, like I said, Aaron Goodwin was there, as was Billy Tolley. He's also in that picture with me. It was through I don't know if anybody knows the name Dave Schrader.
I've heard of it. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, he had set that whole thing up, so it was with a group that he did, and there was probably all together like 80 of us, but we were broken down into smaller groups. It was maybe about 10 or so, maybe 12 people in the group.
Okay.
So yeah, there was like quite a, like I said, and we were going like birth sessions of EVP, and 4 other people asked questions, they didn't get nothing. I did it.
Well, yeah, they were attracted to you. That's amazing because some people, yeah, they attract, and others don't have that experience. That's sad, but they pick who they want to contact. That's for sure.
Yeah, they do, and once they know that you can hear them, they will do the best they can to make sure that you do.
Oh yeah. Now, when you do your investigations, do you use equipment? Or are you old school? How do you perform your investigations?
Well, I like having a recorder, just in the EVP recorder, just in case. I have a few apps on the phone that I use here and there, but
Right.
mostly I do. I like just going old school. I just like using my eyes, using my ears, using my senses.
Beautiful. And do you just like regular camera and digital
Yep.
recorder, or
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if a camera, I have my phone. Have my phone
Right.
camera. That's what I use. And yeah, I have just a regular plain old digital recorder. I think I paid $80 for like 10 years ago.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's what I do too. Just plain and raw. That's pretty much how I like to do it and put it out there.
Absolutely.
Um, what is there been a place that you've been to that you refuse to go back to because it had either disturbed you or there was a reason?
No, I don't think I'd like really refuse. Some of them I'd definitely just be
Right.
that little bit more wary just because I know that crazy things happen. Like I went to Houghton Mansion in North Adams, Massachusetts, and there were eight of us that saw a shadow figure walking up the stairs with the lights on, by the way.
Oh,
And
cool.
it was like a set of stairs that was like, doubles, like you go up a certain amount of stairs and then there's a landing and then you turn and go up the rest of the stairs. It was like that. So we could see the figure going up to the landing and then it disappeared.
Right.
But for some reason, like I could still, no, actually, it wasn't that I could see it. I could see me. Like I could see me from its point of view from the bottom of the stairs and it was starting to freak me out. And
Wow.
then I could see it running up the stairs at me and it pushed me back against the wall and it held me there. And like I couldn't move and it started to lift me up and I was like, and in my mind I'm going, ha ha ha, yeah, 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 okay, I see you're here, okay, you can let me go.
Right.
But I was doing it in my mind and it wasn't letting me go and it was just getting worse and worse and it started to actually pick me up off my feet and I finally screamed, let me go. Somebody said I looked like a sack of potatoes falling to the floor,
Oh,
the way it just
wow.
finally let me go and I was just like just fell right to the floor.
Wow.
So yeah, there are a few things that some crazy stuff happened, and I'm just gonna be a little bit more careful. But no, there's no place that I would ever be like, no, I'm not going back there.
Oh, fantastic. Because usually people, yeah, if they have an experience like this, that's it. I'm out of here. But yeah, exactly like you said, if fire, it stokes the fire to make you want to go back and find out more.
Yep, this is why we're
Um,
here.
yeah, Steph, that's the picture with her and Aaron on the thumbnail. Yeah, it's the only picture I could find of her that I could use.
Oh yeah, that one's fine. I was gonna use it, I just couldn't find it right away when I was signing in and Teresa, trying to get at least a picture up here everybody could see.
That's
I
all
couldn't
right.
find it right away, so I used this one. I was gonna use that one.
Poor Ryan says, I'm jealous of some of the places that she's been. You gotta don't leave Ryan out. Take him with you.
Take them with me. Well, I mean, that was before I knew him, so I mean, yeah, I go back.
We don't want him to cry or anything. Welcome. I'm trying to read that because the font is. I'm blind as a bat.
Firefly Dreams. That's
There we
Firefly.
go. Firefly
Hi,
Dreams. Okay.
Firefly.
Welcome, welcome. All these new faces. I'm loving it. Yeah, we don't want to leave Ryan out. Ryan's a trip. I love it. And
Yeah,
he's been to a lot of great places too. So don't sweat it, Ryan. You've been to some really great places too.
exactly.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Okay, so what I want to get into is your experiences about the Lizzie Borden house. Have you been there personally? And just go from there. Tell us what you know, what we don't know.
The first time I was there was August 2012. And I went there with my husband. And we pulled up to the house and I looked, because it's the Lizzie Borden house. It's famous. It's like, this place is haunted. This is scary. This is like anxiety. This is exciting.
Right.
So we pulled up to the house and I looked at him. I said, all right, let's do it. 4 hours later, about 10 o'clock that night, I got an EVP on the first floor that said, let's do it. And it was my voice.
Huh.
Yeah, so that was my first night there. First went inside, like it was an investigation. So there was, I don't know, maybe about, I'd say 15 to 20 of us there, about that. And we were in the sitting room. That's where Andrew was found deceased. And everybody, I don't know, everybody got up and left. I was the only one left sitting. I was sitting on the couch where he was found.
Right.
And I could see like these dark, misty energy balls just like kind of going in and out of the walls. And this is before I knew I was a medium. And I'm looking at it like, oh God, I hope I'm freaking out right now. I don't
Right.
know what to do. This is scary. Yeah, so that was interesting. And we started on the basement. On the basement, I got an EVP that said, "My name's Lizzie."
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And then I got the, like I said, the one that was my voice, 100% my voice saying to me, let's do this, just like I said to my husband 4 hours before that. I got another one. See, I think that one was on the first floor because I think I got on the second floor. Get out. And then on the third floor, as we were leaving, as we were walking out, I got a goodbye.
Huh.
So yeah, that was quite interesting. And it wasn't like much as far. Well, no, actually, if I remember correctly, I think my husband got like poked or something
Right.
because we were up in Lizzie's room, and he said that he felt something like he felt somebody hit him or kicked him or something like that. If I remember, it was crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Welcome, Paul. Welcome, James. Glad you guys could join us. Now, who do you think is haunting the home?
I would say Lizzie's probably there. She spent a good portion of her life there. Granted, she didn't die there,
Right.
but she did spend a good portion of her life there. I know Andrew's there. And I know that because I can feel his anger when people are actually like, because I haven't been there in a while, in quite a while actually. But the last time I was there, they did have it set up, so it was basically set up the exact same way as it was in 1892 when they were murdered.
Right.
So, like, of course, people and they have like a little hatchet there, and of course, people come and they lay on the couch and they pretend that they're Andrew, and somebody stands over them with the hatchet. And the
Right.
funny thing is, when people take pictures of this, the hatchet never comes out clearly, even if they're not moving it, even if they're just standing there
Oh,
absolutely still, the
right.
hatchet never comes out clearly.
Isn't that something?
Right. And when they're doing this, when I'm there, like I can feel his anger. Like he hates that. So I know he's there. I know he's there.
What? Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think I would be upset too that people are using that as a
As
source of
fodder. Yeah. Yeah.
entertainment. So yeah, welcome,
Exactly.
Mrs. Deathless. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Um, Pammy has a question. She wants to know, what do you do if something really scares you?
Um, I haven't gotten to that part, I don't think. Maybe run screaming. I could see that, maybe. Or at least hide under the bed or something. I don't know. I mean, might be hiding next to a ghost at that point. I don't know. I've never actually come across that issue. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like sometimes the heart races just that little bit, but it's been nothing, not enough to have me screaming and running out
Oh,
yet.
great.
Yet. And like I said,
Oh,
I've been
thank you.
impressed a few times.
Thank you, Pomp. And of course, Pomp, what we do when somebody likes to help support the channel. Okay, guys, are you there? Is everybody there? Ah, I hope it's working. Hi, Sage. I'm just letting Steph know that I'm in. Hopefully, you guys are. I started a new one. Is it working? Yay! I don't know what the hell happened, guys. Holy crap-a-roni. Now I'm just waiting. I sent Kira a new link, so I'm just waiting for her to get the link, and then we'll bring her back on. I don't know what happened. All I did was did the superstar for Pomp, and everything went bananas after that. Oh no, I won't play with any buttons anymore. I'm sorry. It still shouldn't have done that. Who the hell knows? So yeah, we're back. I'm just waiting for Kira to hook up with the new link. You gotta love YouTube. There's always a problem. Guess who's back? Raw tell friend, guess who's back? Who's back? Yeah, it's me. We're back. We're back. It's Pugwudgies. You're right, Steph. Probably. They came over from Bill's show last night. I've been contaminated. I caught it. Oh no. So yeah, I have no idea. Well, no, I would say Bigfoot too if I was outside. It'd be cooler, crying out loud. It's warm in here. I've got fans going like crazy. And it's not hot outside. What I got to do is just put a fan in the window. But yeah, we're just waiting for Kira to hook up with the new link, and then we'll go from there. So, what are your guys' thoughts about that case? Do you believe she did it? Do you? What are so a lot of people have theories, so I don't know, and I love to hear them. Bill's football twins did it. Yeah, I know. See, I would tell him, and I know he's lurking because he said he was going to be lurking. So we'll blame it on Bill. And if he wants to defend his position, he's gotta get in the chat. It crashed twice now on that short clip. Must be that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure it out. So yeah, I won't use that. Maybe I have to switch and find something else to use. Which stinks because I like to use that. So it's just to say, thank you, because I really appreciate it when everybody, helps me out and donates. Even just becomes a member. All of this helps support the channel so I can keep going. You guys have heard the violins are playing. You've heard the story. I need your help to keep me going. If not, then, I was at the point where I was going to have to shut down, and I really didn't want to do that. But with your guys' help, it's been great. And changing up the stream. Everything costs so damn much. Well, I'm thinking her pits stink on that clip. Yeah, and the essence of that just makes the makes the stream go bad. What's her name did it with the help of the maid to clean up? Ah, is that what you're thinking? Sage, we're talking about the Lizzie Borden case. Kira has a lot of information on it. She's been there several times. So, people are thinking that Lizzie Borden did it. Leanne does. I mean, she was a weird chick. You got to admit it. All right, Kira, hopefully we didn't lose her. Hey, Ryan, tell her I sent her the new link. Oh, it's not connecting for me. Okay, let me send it again. What the hey? This is really, I don't know, guys. I might not stick with this one. I haven't had any problems so far, and all of a sudden there's an issue. Okay, I sent it again. Let's see if it'll connect for her. Lizzie gave the stream 40 wags. No, Lizzie, I've got nothing against you. Of course, there was all kinds of rumors floating around. Was she gay? And she had a girlfriend and wanted the girlfriend to be in. Oh, I think she's popping in, guys. I think she can. All right. There she is.
We got it. It wasn't connected for me at first.
Woohoo. Well, what the hell? If it's going to go down to shitter, might as well go all the way, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, Lord, Laura's pushing buttons again. Well, I just want to say thank you for the donation. That's it. For now, I'm just going to say thank you, guys. And that's it. Until I figure out, maybe they clipped or something up with it. Who knows? Wait, I forgot to take that back off. Okay. I say she was experimenting. Oh, yeah, no, I played that clip before, but Wayne said it happened twice. So maybe there's an issue with that clip. So I might have to delete that one and hook myself up with something else. Who knows? Sometimes you think, why bother? All of these stupid clips. Excuse me. So this is what we were discussing is about what do you know in detail about Lizzie Borden's lifestyle? I mean, like I've heard stories about her possibly being gay because they said she was a bit strange. She didn't live by the rules of the time.
No, not really. Yeah, there was word that she was possibly a lesbian. After her parents were murdered and she moved on, and her sister moved into a big house on the other side of town. she started throwing lavish parties. As a matter of fact, that was one of the reasons why she was upset with her father, because he wouldn't let her throw lavish parties. And
Oh,
she would invite the actors and the actresses. And back then, they were the bottom of the barrel.
it pretty much.
Oh yeah, but there was one particular actress that she fancied. I guess you could say her name was Nance. I forget her last name, but she was really close with her, and there was talk that they were closer than close. And
Uh-huh.
there's word that that was part of the reason why her sister Emma up and left her, because, like I said, they had moved on. They moved into the house together, and I think it was 1907. I want to say right around there, that there was just some big tiff between the sisters, and Emma Upton moved up to New Hampshire and then never spoke again.
Okay.
But it was also widely believed that Emma was not, well, Emma, it wasn't, it was known that she was more reserved, more quiet, more to herself. Like, she wasn't one to be a part of big lavish parties. So I mean, that was part, but I think, also the fact that her sister was so close to another woman in the 1900s, that, the early 1900s, that's not heard of.
Yeah, that's
What are
really
you
taboo.
doing? But
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, absolutely nobody knows what happened to actually make Emma move away. So it could have been that, it could have been just about anything. Who knows?
Right. And also, did they say that the uncle disappeared after this all took place?
Yes. And some people think that he had a hand in it. But I mean, unless the people that he was visiting were like, I mean, I guess that's possible. But he was with, because he went to visit relatives, his niece and her mother. So I guess maybe his sister in law or something. I'm not sure. But he went to visit them, and they swore up and down that he got there at 10 a.m. and didn't leave until 11:20. And the Bordens were murdered. Well, um, they think Abby was killed around 9:30 a.m., which he left before he left the house before that, or right around that. And then they think that Andrew was killed right around or right before 11. And so since he didn't come back until 11, well, he left their house at 11:20. He got back to the Borden house about quarter of 12. And then
Right.
he walked in the backyard and got himself a couple of pears. I guess he didn't care about the crazy mix of people that were standing around in front of the house, all the police and everything. I guess, whatever. Let me just go have a pear first.
Right. That's kind of odd behavior.
Everything seems to like revolve around the pear trees in the backyard, because at one point there was actually somebody who was seen that morning in the backyard, but he wouldn't admit it at first because he was stealing pears. Oh yeah, just stealing
That's,
pears, huh? That's interesting.
yeah. Yeah, that's a little sketchy right there.
Yeah, right. Because
Because,
they said that the neighbors that were on either side of the house, quite a few of the neighbors in each house were, I guess, sitting by windows or whatever. And the whole lot of them said that they saw Andrew leave the house that morning, but they didn't see anybody else leave. Which is strange, because John Morse left the house that morning, but nobody saw him.
yeah,
So
interesting.
if nobody actually saw him, then what else did they not see, or who else did they not see come or go from the house?
Right. Exactly. Now, they say the mother was done first, then the father. Is that how it
Yes.
happened?
Yes, she was up in the guest room in which that John stayed in. And she was making the bed. She was in the middle of making the bed when she was attacked. They think that the person, the attacker, came up behind her and swung well, they think a hatchet at her and hit her like in the back, like right between her shoulder blades,
Right.
which caused her, of course, to turn. And then they just kept hacking at her. They counted 19 blows, I think, 18 to her
Oh,
head, and that one between her shoulder blades. So well, the doctor himself said that any one of the blows could have killed her instantly.
right.
So, which in and of itself suggests overkill.
Yeah. Well, they
Which,
would it would be like a crime of passion. It's
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And the same with the father, because the doctor outright said that one of the blows, trigger warning, split his eyeball in half.
oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
So and at the same time, any one of those blows could have killed him instantly, but there were 11 of them. So they kept going. It's
Wow.
overkill.
Yeah,
Absolute crime of passion. And everybody's like, oh, well, then of course it's Lizzie. Okay, but why? I mean, yeah, she was upset that her father wasn't like giving her more money and stuff and this, but is that enough to actually kill the man? Is that enough to hack him
exactly.
to death? Is that enough to drive a hatchet into his head 11 times? Okay. And yes, you know what? She didn't get along with her stepmother. They had been arguing for at least 5 years, if not more. At least 5 years, if not more. So all of a sudden, what? Now she's pissed off enough to hack her up with a hatchet out of nowhere?
Right.
So it's like, okay, I get it that everybody thinks it's Lizzie, but you have to actually stop and ask yourself, why? I mean, in because I've studied forensic psychology, and I wrote an entire paper on this as well. They actually let me write a paper on Lizzie Borden.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. But for the most part, for people like such a brutal crime like that, there's got to be some anger. Like this would not be the first time that something like this would have happened, or the last.
Right.
And there's nothing else in her. Nothing. She was known to love. I mean, shit. She left half of her fortune to her dogs. She was known to love animals. She
Right.
was she was really. I mean, like, okay, yeah. I mean, she had her darker side, but I'm not saying that's enough to kill anybody. We all have a little bit of a darker side. We are, but I mean, like I said, she was with the actress Nance there. So obviously, she had like a little bit of a, like you said, beyond her times type side, but it's still not enough to kill somebody.
Right. Leanne says that she read somewhere, she read that there was suspicions of SA by the father.
Yes. They were absolutely, yep. And I'll tell you what, being a medium, and when that comes up in that house, you want to talk the anger. I can feel it slicing through the air. So whether or not he's angry because he did it and he's pissed off at being called out on it, or because he didn't do it, and how could you say that about somebody? I don't know, but yes, there were definitely words about that as well. But I mean, at the same time, so now you got to go back to how long was he still doing it while she was 32 years old? I would think not. I mean, maybe, but probably not. He's already 70. like like,
Yeah.
so I mean, this goes back to like what would have set her off like that to hack this man to death, her
Right.
own father,
So violently. Cree
so
says if
violently.
Yeah, the Cree says if the uncle thought that there was something going on with the father and his nieces, that might make him one really pissed off man. Yeah, that's what I was. My next question is: do you know if there was any rift between the father and the uncle?
Not as far as I know. No, they were getting along like relatively well. I mean, the uncle often came and spent like he lived there. He lived, I think, in Fall River for a little bit, and then he moved out to Iowa for a couple of years, and then he moved back a couple of years. I think 1890, so like 2 years before the murder, and he moved to Somerset, which is maybe 10 or 15. Like Andrew Borden owned a couple of farms in Somerset. It was like right over the river, so it wasn't that far away. So he came over a lot. He spent a lot of time, staying the night, having dinner with them or whatever. Well, supper they called it. So dinner was the lunch. Supper is the nighttime meal. But yeah,
Right,
so like he'd come over, and he'd have supper with them, and he'd stay the night in the guest room. He'd go over and visit, like I said, his niece or whatever, or sometimes he had business in the city, so he'd go and take care of that. And like, because it said outright when Andrew, let him out that morning, he was like, okay, hey, make sure you make it back in time for lunch. Well, dinner, whatever. But, make sure you make it back in time for lunch. Yeah, great, no problem, Andrew. I'll see you, and he was back in time for lunch, but unfortunately it was never served because by then they were dead. But yeah, so I mean, no, they got along pretty well. So I don't think there was any rift between the brother-in-law and Andrew.
right. Okay, because Cree
I think
says
they had some financial dealings as well.
right. Well, that's what. Yeah, Sage is saying that weren't they business partners?
Yeah, yeah, they did have some business dealings between them, with the farms and stuff. And well, yeah, Uncle John was pretty much a farmer out in Iowa, and that's what he brought back. That's what he did. So yeah,
Okay. Yeah, Cree's saying, I'm saying the uncle would be pissed off at the father, and that would add up to a crime of passion. Yeah, could
Yeah,
be.
absolutely. I mean, like I said, it's possible he could have been there to do Abby, but if the sister-in-law and the niece are telling the truth, he was not there at all to for Andrew. They said that he was there from 10 a.m. to 11:20 a.m. and by then Andrew was already dead.
Right.
And it was
Cree
well, and
says,
he was seen Andrew was seen in the street at 10:30, so people know that he wasn't home yet. Everybody, like a couple people came forward and said that.
right, that they saw him. Cree wants to, she says the uncle could tell exact times and people that he was with, and the guy was a complete stranger. Who gets names of strangers? Alibi needed.
Yeah, everybody. I know exactly what you're talking about because he did. He came up with it was strange because he came up with exact times. In 1892, it's not like everybody's got a watch on their wrist. Like as a matter of fact, they were like, "Oh, we know that that Andrew was seen at 10:30 because they took the time from the post office. Like they were basing their time on the post office clock. So it's not like everybody had a watch on their wrist or anything. So how exactly
Right.
do you know these exact times? So like I
Right.
said,
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
because back then they used pocket watches, so he would have had to pull the watch
yeah,
out.
that
Y-
too. Yeah, but
Yeah.
exactly. So, like, you're checking the time of everything you do every second, like before you even know
Yeah, you're
anything's going
right.
on. What? So, I mean, no, I'm not gonna completely write him off. I'm just saying that that's what was. I read a Fall River Tragedy by Edwin Porter, and it was actually published in 1893. It was published right after uh, the trial ended. So he's like he was there. So he's got like he's got all the words. So yeah, like I said, that's what was actually absolutely said. But they could have been lying.
Right.
They could have been covering for him. And that was the other thing was Lizzie thought that Abby wasn't in the house when they found Andrew because she thought that um she would that Abby had gone to a friend's house because Lizzie said that a young boy had come that morning and given Abby a note that said, come see your sick friend. Or I don't know exactly how. I forget it how. I think Lizzie just said that that's what Abby said was on the note that to come see a sick friend because she didn't know the friend, she didn't know the little boy, she had no idea. So and of course, like they put wide out and strong and wide. Anybody little boy that came and delivered a note, please come forward. Any sick friends, please come forward. But nobody ever did. But see, the
Oh,
thing about that though is that um, Abby's sister-in-law, her sister-in-law, I think her sister-in-law and her nephew, um, they were, obviously she was close to her sister-in-law. She went over there often, and obviously, so I mean, if you think about it, her and Lindsay were kind of not really to get like at odds kind of. You could see like Abby going over and chewing off her sister-in-law's ear about that awful Lizzie and this and that and everything else. So it could be possible that the boy was the one who brought over a note for the sister-in-law, but nobody said anything because they hate Lizzie and they didn't want to let her off the hook.
right.
That's also been, a thought because nobody ever found the note. Although the police did say that they found something that looked like a burnt piece of paper in the fireplace that when they were searching the house that day.
Right.
So it's possible there could have been one,
And then
and
they were
that could have
setting
been the
her up.
story behind it. And yeah, and that nobody was coming because they didn't like her because they were Abby's family,
Right.
and that was a part of like what started the argument. I think it was like 5 years before that Andrew had bought Abby's father's house and gave half of it to her sister or her sister this friend, the sister-in-law, the person I was just talking about.
Right.
Um, and so of course the girls were mad because how are you going to buy a house for her and nothing for us? So he gave them the old house that he grew up in, but I guess the house was a piece of crap and it was only bringing in just a little bit of money for rent. But by the time they had turned it around and put it back in the house for fixing it and this and that and everything else, they weren't making anything. So they just finally gave it back. It was like a whole ordeal. But like I
Wow.
said, it was like 5 years before the murders. So like
Right.
it was 5 years ago. Now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, now she's mad enough to start wielding an axe and
Uh,
swinging.
yeah, that doesn't make
Like
any sense.
it
Uh,
doesn't.
Enjoy your dinner, Sage, and thanks for lurking. Pam says, "What was the rail rider theory dropped? Explain to everybody what the rail rider theory is first, and then let us know. Do you know if it was dropped?"
The rail rider theory, is that the one? I know that I heard there's a couple of things. Somebody wrote a letter to one of the girls, either Emma or I think Emma, saying that he was nearby about 1 p.m. He was actually going towards the train station,
Right. Good night,
and
James. Thanks for joining us.
he ran into a fellow who, like, he looked like he had blood on his shoes or something like that, and he looked disheveled. And I guess he was saying that he was a farmer and he was mad at his employer, so he went and he did something about it or something like that. And the guy wrote all this in a letter to Emma, but he was saying that he was afraid to come forward because the man who wrote the letter was a foreigner. So he didn't want to get in trouble and he didn't want to get um, arrested or anything, called up, whatever. So he was afraid to come forward, but he knows that the man got on the train and went into Boston, and he could describe and everything else. You find this guy, just get in touch with me if you can, and I will come down and I will tell you because I know exactly what this guy looks like. Is
Right.
that the one we're talking about?
I don't know. Let us know, Pam, if that's what you're talking about, because I haven't heard of the rail rider theory. So, and again, it still sticks in my head, like you said. After this happened, and then the uncle just went into the backyard and picked fruit off of the tree.
Yeah, yeah. He just walked in.
Now,
It's like
who
there's
does
like
that when they find out family members have been brutally slaughtered?
I've been to this house. There's no way the way he was coming that you couldn't notice a ton of people standing in front of the house to just be like, you know what? I think I'll go have a pear.
Yeah, that's just like way off in left
What?
field.
What?
All right, yeah, Pam says, yeah, okay, the theory is because a tramp came into town and left on the train.
Okay. Yeah. And yeah,
I
that's
do, okay, now I do remember that, but I didn't know that's what they were calling it.
now there was
Uh,
also another I don't know, well, I guess not really theory. It was actually somebody seen in front of the house right around the time that Andrew was murdered, maybe right after the time, right around the time.
right,
And he was seen by both a local doctor and a local police officer. And they both described the man as being very pale, having an odd um, suit on, saying they couldn't describe why it was odd. They couldn't describe why he was not, but they just like noticed this guy. So
right.
they tell the police, and the police are like, "Oh, okay. Anybody see this guy? Anybody see this guy? All right, no, obviously this guy doesn't exist, so I don't know what you guys are talking about." So they're like, "No, listen, there's this guy. You gotta find him." So the police are like, "All right, anybody see this guy? All right, there's this guy, Mike the Sailor. All right, let's go check him out." So they go and check him out, and they're like, "All right, this guy seems like kind of like what they're talking about,
Right,
but he has an alibi, so this isn't the guy." Like they never brought him back to the doctor or the other officer that saw him that could be like, "Yeah, that's the guy," or "No, that isn't the guy." They just
right.
decided that's not the guy and just left him. Like, what?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Back then, the unfortunately, the way they did things for law enforcement and investigations was so primitive. Uh,
Oh yeah.
so that's why things were so easier back then to get away with. Uh, Thanks for joining us, Joe. Don't work too hard. We appreciate you stopping in. So yeah, like I said, even I mean, they trampled all through the house. Everybody was in and out of that place, so there was no way to actually collect any evidence because everything was contaminated.
Well, yeah, not so much that they just didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Right, pretty
It
much.
was, but it was. They actually did a pretty good job at keeping people out of us because the police officer that went to the scene, he went back outside and found this guy walking. He knew him, right? And he was like, "You stand here and don't let anybody in this house unless they're a police or a doctor." And the guy
Right.
was like, "Okay, no problem." And so he did. But you're right. By that time, Lizzie and she had called the next door neighbor over and her friend Alice. So yeah, a couple of people had already been in there at that point. But I mean, the guy did. He did. It says, like I said, I read that the story from 1893, and he did. He stood there all night and didn't let nobody in that house unless it was a
Wow.
police or a doctor.
Well,
But
that's
yeah, by
good.
that time there had already been people in there. But they didn't know what the hell they were doing. It was
No. Well,
1892. It was Fall River. A what?
right, right.
No.
I
And
mean,
that was the
there was
thing.
no advanced, forensic training back then. So
Exactly.
so
So
yeah,
by
they
and that was a Thursday morning. So by Saturday, people are up in arms. Like, why can't you find the murderer? What is wrong with you? This guy he just in broad daylight and hacked these two people to death. Why can't you find this person? So I think that was another reason why they were like, all right, Lizzie did it. Because they needed somebody to arrest.
yeah.
And that's the best they had.
Also, did anybody question the sister? Maybe she was involved. I mean, because there was a jealousy thing there.
She
So
was she was known, well, I don't know. She was supposed said to be in Fairhaven, which is a town on the other side from Somerset, about 20 minutes or so away. By car, actually. So I don't even know what that would be by foot. Well, they had a horse and buggy back then. And they were
right.
they had a relatively good amount of money, so I'm sure that's how she got back and forth.
So but I'm
But
thinking,
yeah,
but do you think
she
maybe
wasn't
she was
around.
in cahoots with the uncle and it was a setup from the word go?
I don't know about all that. I mean, Emma was more laid back. I mean, me, if things bothered her, she never let on. She was laid back. She went with it, whatever. She was happy with it. I mean, yeah, there was the whole house debacle like 5 years before that, and this and that, and they should give more to their daughters. He should give more to his daughters than he does to his wife, or at least the same amount, or whatever. And by the way, they ended up giving that house back to their father. But yeah, so I
Right.
mean, like she was in. I mean, she was up. I guess upset. Well, she was involved with it, so I don't know. If they never like really go into too much about Emma. Just that she's quiet, laid back. Like she's like I don't know. I mean, I
Those
guess
are the
you
ones
always
you
have
got
to
to
worry about the
watch.
quiet ones.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
right.
right.
You always got to worry about the quiet ones. So I don't.
Oh,
Maybe.
geez.
I mean, anything's possible, really.
And of course, nobody is really digging into anything else nowadays. So you're not gonna. They're just gonna leave it as is. That she was accused of it, but wasn't convicted,
Hmm.
and I think that's pretty much how that's gonna end up. Nobody's
Yeah.
gonna continue,
Well, like you said, there's no forensics back then, so it's not like anybody can like test
right?
the blood. And even if you can,
I mean, just like
what are you going to
nowadays,
do with
they
it?
finally found out and discovered who Jack the Ripper finally was.
Yeah.
Because they used, for the modern day forensics and DNA, and they finally found out who it was after all of these years. So that's why I was wondering if they would use that same kind of technology to find out if actually she did it or somebody else did it. At least to
Um,
clear her name.
I maybe I mean maybe they could, because they found one little tiny drop of blood on her dress that she wore that day. So maybe if they still have it, maybe they could test it and see if it was hers,
Right.
because she was on her womanly thing
And that's what
that
she
day.
blamed the blood on.
That well, she at one point she was in the basement washing the rags that they used to I don't want to get too graphic on you people, but yeah. But yeah, she said if the and it says, right, like I said, in the book it says right out that there was one little tiny drop of blood, and she said if that's all there is, I can explain that. So that's obviously where she was going with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
and I mean, well, that was another thing. See, there was some blood on the walls and stuff like what you'd expect, but there wasn't a lot. And there's also a theory that Andrew had an illegitimate son
Uh-huh.
who was a butcher
Oh.
and would know how to not produce a lot of blood, even though he's hacking somebody up, I guess you could say.
Oh, yeah. See, I
So
didn't know any of that.
yeah, that's another theory too. So I mean, there's a lot of theories that could like point in many different directions.
And did they ever bring him in for questioning?
Not as far as I know.
Wow. See, there's too many loose ends.
Exactly.
Way too many.
And
They just figured they'd blame Lizzie and case closed. But
Borden, I mean, there's a Robert Borden. That's who they think is somebody. I mean, Borden was a huge name back then. all the different Bordens across the board, like and they more or less made Fall River in the area. Shoot, I think, like I said, I'm about 20 minutes, half hour away. I think we have Borden stuff in my town.
Okay, so yeah, so they were a big deal.
Yeah,
Pa-
absolutely.
Pam says, would someone else get Lizzie's share of the inheritance if she had been found guilty right away? Good question.
Um, well, probably I'll go to Emma. I mean, I don't know how they do it back then. Would they still? Well, I guess if she's in jail, she can't really spend it.
Right, she
But
wouldn't be
otherwise,
entitled
yeah.
to it. So yeah.
As far on the books, Emma and Lizzie were his only two living children. He had one other daughter, but she died when she was young. Between the two of them.
Okay. Yeah. Ryan said, did I hear that they let people walk into the house after the killing, so a bunch of people ruined the crime scene?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, Lizzie. Well, when it happened, Lizzie sent Bridget, like she called her Maggie, the maid, over because the doctor lived right across the street. So she ran over there to get the doctor, and the doctor wasn't home. She ran back and said the doctor's not home. She's like, okay, well, go get my friend Alice. So she goes to get Alice. Well, she's sitting there waiting for Alice. The neighbor looks out and sees Lizzie sitting there looking all upset and stuff, and she's like, what's the matter? And of course, Lizzie says somebody murdered father. Or somebody stabbed or murdered, it actually is exactly what she said to her.
Right.
So, of course, she comes over to find out what's going on and to comfort her friend because everybody needs to comforting because you just lost your father and all that noise. So, yeah, there were quite a few people that came in before, the cops even got there.
Right. Oh, and of course, the friend probably went inside because that's my
Yep.
reaction was, okay, let me go see what the hell's happening.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, gone inside as well. So
Yep.
yeah,
Exactly. So,
it's
yeah, there were a few people before the police even got there. But like I said, the police guy went outside and found the guy and was like, you stand here and don't let anybody in. This is the doctor or the police.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
And so he
right, Pam.
did.
Unfortunately, women had little power or worth. And yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah.
So if they did get inheritance, it was a big deal because you had to be a person of means to have that kind of privilege. Because most women had nothing, and maybe it could have been a jealousy thing that they didn't want the stepmother to get anything that they thought that they were entitled to. So I mean, that could have been a reason.
Yeah.
Maybe again, the uncle, maybe there was something up, bad business, and he was angry, and took it out on the father and the wife, because then again, if both of them are gone, maybe he had some money coming if they weren't there. I mean, I don't know exactly what his will was, but
He didn't leave a
uh,
will.
or like the business that they were in. I mean, if he's gone, then it means the uncle would have total control of the business
Yeah.
and all of that.
Yeah.
So
He
that
did
could have
take
been part
control
of
of the
it.
business. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. He didn't leave a will.
Yeah.
So it,
See,
it would
so
all gone to his daughters anyway.
right. Oh, and that's one of the reasons why they had to take the mother out, because if it was just the husband and the father, naturally it's all going to go to the
Yeah.
stepwife
Yeah.
or the
That's
stepmother.
that's the theory why they had to take her out first.
Yeah.
Because that's the law. If like they took him out first, that technically everything would have gone to her, even though she was murdered, and then it would have gone to all of her family and not
Right.
stayed in the Borden family.
Right. So that's
Or
another,
something
yeah.
like that.
Dragon says, way too many suspects there for me to even trying to give a guess. Yeah, that's the thing. There's so many different avenues.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Ryan has said a crazy amount of theories because you don't know who had what to gain, what control they would have once those people were gone. I think that basically, yeah, it was done because monetary issues is number one
Oh yeah.
reason. But who knows if it was her just getting rid of them so she could do what she want. And then, like I said, because after that happened, you said they went and they bought this other house
Yep.
because she didn't want to live in that home. Now, there could be many reasons for that.
She just
I
wanted a better house. It
myself,
wasn't. It wasn't even. It didn't have anything to do with living there. She just wanted a better house. She wanted indoor plumbing. They didn't have it at 92
right?
Second Street. Even though he could afford it, he could absolutely afford it.
Yeah,
They
he
didn't
just
have
didn't
it.
do it. Well,
They didn't do it.
not for nothing. I mean, after that happened, would you want to live in that house?
No,
I wouldn't want to live there.
no,
I'd get rid
that
of it as
no.
soon as I could. So yeah,
Especially since she was the one that found the body. I mean, even if she did it or not, that's like I don't know if I could get that out of my mind walking into that room every day.
right. Totally haunt you forever. And the same
Absolutely.
furniture, all that's all there. So yeah, that would just be one way you just get rid of it.
And like I said, like 120 years later, you can still see the blood on the floor if you look up. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure
So
you
it's
could back
still
then.
there. That's what I'm saying. Okay, they've got some stuff that's still there. I'm sure they still have all of the, the relics from that episode. It's DNA would be possible,
Well, no, a lot of the
but it's
stuff in the house is
expensive.
is
Replicas,
yeah, replicas. Thank you.
right?
Not exactly but it's set up the way it was. But yeah, the stuff in the house is replicas.
Well, even if they have if they say they have the original hatchet, there's stuff on there, no matter how old it is. Because blood ends up no matter where you think it ends up everywhere.
They're not sure if they do though.
It's it's in
They
the
said there was
handle, it's underneath
there,
anything. It goes everywhere.
they said there was one hatchet that maybe thought there was some blood on it, but it was actually wood chips.
Okay.
They didn't find any blood on any one of the hatchets. What they did find, however, was when they studied the wounds in Abby's skull, they found what they described as like some wax coating, which would have
Oh,
been on axes that were brand new,
right.
and none of those axes that they pulled out of that cellar were brand new. So that kind of
Interesting.
like that kind of that ruled them basically all those ones out. Although there was, interestingly enough, I think it was right after the trial ended, a brand new axe found on the roof of the shed next door to Lizzie's house. The
Uh-huh.
following June, it was like, obviously it had been there for a little bit. It was weathered, but it was, obviously never used before that.
Right.
So some people wonder if maybe that was the
Eh?
murder weapon.
Could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dragon says, but DNA breaks down over time. After this long, I don't know they could find a viable
Yeah,
sample.
that's
Yeah,
true.
but there's still that chance. Because I mean, look what they do when they find like, Egyptian artifacts or crypts or mummies. I mean, I know those are preserved, but there's still that chance, even from old, missing people cases, and they find these things. There's always that chance that you're going to find that one viable source and one sample that is usable. That's why I'm thinking, because hatchets, everybody knows the head comes off of a hatchet handle.
Hmm.
And so, and like I said, blood goes everywhere. So even if they washed it, there's
Yep.
still evidence underneath the head of that hatchet if they removed it from the handle. Um, Pam wants to know, do you get any feelings or anything about who did it when you are in the home?
No, not so much who did it. I get like most of the feelings of who, especially like say Andrew. And he doesn't like me. He's not
Oh,
really huge on me, but I'm one of the few people who can actually sense him and hear him. So he does talk to me, and that's probably why.
okay.
But no, I don't really, nothing. Cause I mean, and don't get me wrong, I tried. Cause I've been all in on this. Well, I've lived in this area just my whole life, just about. But really ever since I've gotten into the paranormal and been there, so the last 13 years,
Right.
I've really been. But nothing. I don't know. My logic wins. There's so many different areas, so many different avenues that you could go down with that.
Right.
So my logic wins every time. Like maybe it could be, but maybe it could be, or maybe it could be, or it might be. Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I really don't know.
There's so much. Yeah. Steph says, how did they get that axe on that roof? She's actually, and then she followed it up with, had to be pretty strong to throw it up there if it was thrown. Yeah, because it's not
Well,
lightweight.
it's a hatchet, so it's like it's a little bit smaller than an axe, but yeah, still kind of heavy. But yeah, exactly. So they could have just, yeah, probably, kind of tall. And the kid that they saw in the backyard that didn't say he was there, but then said he was there because he was stealing pears. He was described as being tall.
Well, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
that's
Leanne said
possible.
that would have proved it was the murder weapon, but not who did it. No, it's true. Again, they didn't have, the extensive forensics that we have today.
Exactly.
testing fingerprints and all of that. I don't remember when fingerprinting come into play in history, but
They had
did they have it back then?
fingerprinting. Yeah, I know they had it in I think in the 1800s they started it. I'd have to look it up. I forget now. But I know that they've had it for quite some time. Absolutely. But still, at the same time, Lizzie lived there. Of course, his fingerprints are going to be everywhere.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, Steph said it would have made a noise. Exactly, and not for nothing. If you hear something like that, don't you look out your window? I know if I heard something hitting something, I always look out the window when you hear a loud bang or something.
You know. And
So
in the book, it even said that the police had decided that, not so much decided that, but really had their suspicion going as soon as they started talking to Lizzie. So that would like kind of think that you'd. I mean, they said that they searched in other directions, but I don't know about that. You guys thought she did it from the word go. Stop it.
yeah,
Especially, when I go on to read that they're like, yeah, this guy doesn't exist. I don't care if a doctor and a policeman saw him. This guy doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what?
wow. All right, Leanne says, yeah, the maid was supposed to be on a ladder cleaning windows. So the ladder would be how the axe got up there. Maybe the maid was the one that put it there.
That's possible too.
That could be possible too.
Uh-huh. Oh, but the thing about that was, she adored Abby. I couldn't see her killing Abby like that. That was the only reason why she was there. She had been wanting to leave for like a couple of years before that, and Abby said outright to her, "But I'd be so lonely." And she was like, and I couldn't leave after that. I had to stay just because I didn't want Miss to be so lonely.
Right.
So she adored Abby. I don't think that would. That's why she left so quickly afterwards because Abby was gone. And it was like, oh, that's because that they were. No, I don't think that's what it was. It was just that that was her reason to go, and she took it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and then stuff said no one saw the ladder move. So I don't know. There's so many questions, so many theories, so many people involved that weren't questioned
Hmm.
enough.
Yeah, enough.
Um,
Yeah.
and I mean, well, they didn't like Lizzie, so automatically they went after Lizzie, and they figured that was the way to get rid of her, is blame her for the incident,
Oh yeah. Oh,
and
absolutely.
because she wasn't liked at all. So
And she didn't cry, and
right.
she was quick to correct somebody when they was like, "Your mother, she's my stepmother."
Yeah. Well, they said she was a bit of a yeah, she was a bit of a strange bird. I'm wondering if she, suffered from any kind of a mental uh health issue, as
I
far as
mean,
maybe like schizophrenia or multiple
also, I
personality
mean, you
or
also have to think she was 32 years old at the time and single.
yeah.
In 1892, you weren't 32 and single. That just didn't
No,
happen.
no, spinster.
Exactly. But then again, so was that, her sister. So was Emma. But Emma
Right.
was 41 and single.
And now, don't you find that odd? They were both that, advanced age and not married.
Yeah,
You think they would be a hot commodity because, wealthy family, because back
e-
then a lot of people didn't get married because of love; they got married because of money.
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, if they have a wealthy family, they had no reason to marry
They
out
figured,
because
we could put a
there's
bag on her
money
head.
right
I don't
there.
care what she looks like. Just hand over the bank book.
And it wasn't exactly known how much he was worth, but it was guessed at least 300,000. And so I had to go look it up, of course. And 300,000 in 1892 is the same amount as about 10.6 million today.
Exactly. Yeah, that's big money.
Yeah, it is.
And like I said, that and you're saying that he was in business with the uncle.
Hmm.
So there
Yeah,
again,
they had a couple
there's
of
another reason
farms.
why he would get rid of him because then the
Yep.
uncle would have control of all that money.
Hmm. And there was word that some of his farm hands were upset with him, and there was actually somebody said that one of them was seen burying a bloody axe that day or the next day or something like
Oh
that.
my
So the cops
god.
go there and were like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I was killing chickens."
Uh-huh.
Okay, so
Okay.
but why were you burying the axe? They didn't
Right.
ask that, but I am like, why were you burying the
Yeah, you
axe?
don't do that. You're going to
If
use
all
it
you
for
were
the
doing was
next
killing,
time.
right? Aren't you going to need it again later?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little sketchy too.
Yeah.
I agree. Yes, Leanne. Yeah, women were lower status, so easy to scapegoat. You're right. They were.
But at the
That's what I'm
same
saying. I
time,
find
though,
it's
that's one of the reasons why they found her not guilty was because she was a woman. And no woman can do something like this. This
right,
is
right.
horrible.
Yeah, they couldn't fathom that a woman would be possible
Yeah.
to be able to do that. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not saying she didn't do it. Like maybe, and like maybe she had, maybe she was bipolar, and so quiet and demure at one moment, and then the switch is flipped, and then she turns into a superpower crazy woman.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but at the same time, it doesn't. It's never happened. I mean, she was a Sunday school teacher.
Yeah. So well, I mean,
I mean, like she. I mean, she was well. I'm not going to say well liked, but she was well known.
yeah.
So, like, I mean, but
That's-
there was like no other reports of anything. Not never ever like she got into like any huge knockout drag. Knockdown drag. I mean, yeah, she was caught shoplifting a couple times.
And yeah, and she didn't need to do that. Oh, good night,
No,
Sir
yeah,
Wayne.
absolutely
Thank you
not.
for hanging out with us. Get that beauty sleep. So you must have been tired from all that watching Crystal do all that wrestling. So you got to get your rest. But yeah, Pam says the father may not have been willing to give the girls a dowry. Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe that's why they weren't married.
Hmm?
Well, see, that's where the
Maybe.
the the
That's
lesbian
it
thing
with
comes
yeah.
in
Yep.
because she wasn't married and she was close to another woman. So automatically they're thinking that she was living a life of sin.
Yes. Yep.
So that was big back then. That's a no, no, no. And
Oh
like
heck
from the
no.
things that I've read, that yeah, she enjoyed a good party and having a good time and not
He
following the
did.
everyday rules that all the proper ladies were to follow. She wanted to have fun. So
And she was mad that her father didn't want her to.
right.
But I mean, it goes right back to, but is that enough to hack the man to death?
I don't see that a good enough reason. That's why I'm thinking that yeah, she was the scapegoat and bottom line, as far like I'm saying, the uncle I think had something to do with it, and maybe it did have something to do with getting control of the money in the business. And he used Lizzie as because he knew she wouldn't go to prison because there was no definite proof that she was the one that did it.
Exactly. So
Let's see. Let's see. Sage says it was very stingy, and I suspect he had a falling out with the uncle and was trying to take advantage of him, and the uncle stopped him. Yeah, see, that's one thing. Everybody think they're all moving towards the uncle is the culprit. And like you said, after his behavior afterwards, right? That's red flags.
yeah.
And then he disappears.
Hmm.
That's because
Well, they basically kept him under house arrest until Lizzie was arrested. So
right,
they had to stay there, but then yeah, he whatever.
just vanished. So
Uncle
it's
John.
yeah.
Bye, Uncle John. See you later, dude.
Everybody took off, and she's left holding the bag.
Oh,
And well, I mean, she did. If she, I mean, she did do it, then she got away with it. Um, but if she didn't do it, then that stigma stuck with it. Oh, the Lizzie Borden house, and
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's there anyway, just because it happened there. There's always that energy there in and of itself. Never mind, who the murderer was. Just the
right,
energy of the act. That'll always be there.
right. Sage says that she goes that they had issues with business dealings in the past, from what I've heard. So yeah, that's what makes me think that's what it was.
Oh,
It was
yeah. Andrew was a shrewd businessman. And I mean, and that's like, another theory. There were so many people who worked for him who didn't like him, who would more than likely sneak up to his house and hack him down. I mean, whatever.
right.
But yeah, oh yeah, he was a shrewd businessman, and his own brother-in-law would tell you that.
So there you go. Pam says could ask Andrew if he was having business problems. So yeah, actually, that would be a good question to ask if you ever go back in there. Just come right out and say, did you have problems?
Yeah,
As far as business goes, and see if you pick up anything.
I could do
So
that.
that's I would
Absolutely.
all kinds of questions I would add to the list just to see if you could find any kind of truth because otherwise it is what it is right now. And unless somebody does more digging and finds out what was going on, because you know how that is. As things happen like that in those days, everybody's mouth runs.
Oh yeah. Oh,
So, you
absolutely.
know, I don't care who they were or what they were doing. The story was leaked out all around the village, and then it just progressed as the years went by. So even today, if you've got relatives of Lizzie's, there's a story there.
Yeah.
And it would be great to, if they would come forward and shared those stories so that people could find out today, or at least try to understand what we think is the truth and what actually happened. It's not very often that you get stuff like that where it was like one of the unsolved mysteries of the day,
They will forever be unsolved.
right?
Because
Unless
who
somebody else
knows?
comes up with something else. Because, like I said,
Yeah.
there are people out there that probably know more details than they're just not sharing. And then again, then you're going to spoil it for the people who own the Borden house. As far as the other house goes, what happened with that property, and is that open to the public or no?
I'm not sure if it's open to the public. I know it was sold recently. I think I heard that maybe they were opening it like as a museum or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was
Not
wondering. If where they
sure.
put that. Because seeing that she spent the rest of her days there, you think that yeah, they would open it up and let people tour the home. Yeah, Pam, that's the truth right there. Unfortunately, time stretches and the story and the evidence disappears. But there's always that one little old lady in the corner of the room in her rocker, and she's got the lowdown on what really went on. Whether she's willing to share it or not, that's the thing. Because yeah, that's the bad part. Yeah, as the story progresses or it goes down through the generations, it changes with each person telling it. But there's always that one person. Oh no, that's all. He come out and say, "Oh, this is all full of shit. I know what happened." And the next, there's the book of truth comes out, which would be pretty awesome. And so I don't know, but it's pretty cool. Anybody got any questions? Any more questions about the Lizzie Borden house, or any questions about what Kira's going to be up to upcoming with the Spectral Whispers? Throw them out there now while you can. So, what is the plans for Spectral Whispers?
As many paranormal adventures as possible. And hopefully Ryan will come with me.
That's right, Ryan. Get on the ball, man. Don't slack. Sage wants to know, who do you suspect, Kira? Who do you think did it?
I'm kind of leaning towards the maybe proposed illegitimate son. I don't know. I think that one makes the most sense to me.
Now, see, this is the first time I've ever heard of him. So now you're making me rethink who I think has done it. Because I didn't know that he existed. So there you go. There's another problem. And if he was, pretty much blown off by the father, yeah, I'd be angry too. That the girls are living this great life and this guy's chopping meat, in the back of a barn somewhere. So
And it's also suspected that Lizzie actually knew about him and knew who he was to her, which is why I think maybe she might have known. Like she wasn't involved, like she didn't do it, but maybe she might have known about who did it, maybe,
yeah.
or at least had a clue or suspected a little bit, maybe.
So let's see. It could be. Could be. Leanne wants to know, what's next for you. Do you have any definite plans on where you're going next?
Well, probably gonna stay nearby. I'd like to go back to the cemetery that Ryan and I checked out. That with the rocking chair. That place was pretty cool.
Oh,
And
nice.
I'd also like to get back to that witching tree, Ryan. And I might check that out. That was the one we went to where the big storm came up. That was
Right.
cool.
I would say, yeah, because didn't Ryan didn't he just come from there?
Yep. Yeah, he was up here for about a week, and we hung out a couple of times out there. So
So
yeah, I'd
that's
like to.
good.
I didn't even know about that. My sister told that Ryan's soon to be wife. She told us about that, so I didn't even, and I live up here, so I hadn't
Yeah,
even
that's what
heard
I'm
of that one.
saying. That's why I love it when people do just local stuff that nobody's heard about.
Right?
And because it's
Yeah.
new stuff, we've all seen all these, and they're great. It's great when people go to all of the famous places, but we want to hear about the places that nobody's been to. It makes it, yeah, a little more interesting. Pam says, which of your YouTube videos do you recommend as the best so far?
Um, none of them yet. I
Oh,
haven't started. Well, I haven't really started putting up my paranormal stuff yet. I want to tell my story of seeing the redheaded hitchhiker of Route 44, but I'm trying to figure out how to do it because I'm a Gen X baby boomer, so I'm not 100% sure how to make a really good video. So I'm working on that still, but I'm working on it. It will be up soon if you just if you just subscribe it and you just hit the little bell, and as soon as it goes up, you'll know. I promise.
there you go. It's put it out raw.
Yeah, I
That's all.
guess.
Just put it on there
Well,
and
I
let
was
it
thinking of
go.
like maybe going over because going down that route and just like taking a video, driving down that route and then coming back and doing a voiceover of the story. I don't know. I don't know. I'm working on it. I'm working on
Right.
it.
It is a process, and that's why I just put the videos on. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not
So
that I don't care. It's just that it's all too technical, and I want people to see what I've experienced at that moment, at that time, instead of doing all the bells and whistles and fancy stuff. And yeah, you don't need that. You just want to see
oh
what I
yeah.
did and what happened. So,
Yeah, true. I just want. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I'll do
so
it. I'm gonna. Yeah, that'll be up soon.
Sage says, "What is the most interesting paranormal experience you've had?"
um. Wow. Well, there've been so they're all interesting, really. I mean, there've been so many. That one night at the Lizzie Borden house, well, everybody else was playing with a Ouija board. I was having a heart attack, literally in the corner, and I don't know why. And I was perfectly fine when they got me out of the house. Imagine that.
Wow.
I saw a weird looking ghost walking down Route 44, but it wasn't a whole ghost. It was just his feet.
Oh,
That was really
that's
wild.
cool.
That's the Route 4.
Wow.
That's the one. That's the story I want to put out. That
Oh
that was
yeah, just put
wild.
that out. Don't worry
That
about doing
was
it.
wild. That was crazy that night.
We want to see the feet. That's cool.
Getting
Pam is Gen X too, and she subscribed. Thanks, Pam. She
Thank you,
appreciates
Pam.
that.
I appreciate it.
So,
Yeah, I've been oppressed twice. Like I said, stabbed on death row. I mean, you name it. It's a lot of crazy stuff.
that's great. Just get it out there. It's worry about all the fancy stuff later, and
Yeah,
I think people appreciate it when it's just more on a raw platform. Because then it doesn't open up the door. Oh, well, they masked that, or they faked this, or they faked. Just you taped it, put it out there.
yeah. I mean, no, I just want to be able to give like a little bit of backstory to because I
Right.
love the research and I love to get the story out there. I love to get the facts out there. Let
So
me
yeah,
let me tell you about the thing, and then here's what happened to me. You know?
there you go. Yeah, so just do your voiceover and then throw it on there.
Yeah, I will.
Let's see. I saw an 80s rocker under an overpass one time that disappeared wearing a Def Leppard muscle shirt and ripped acid wash jeans. Oh, maybe that was you think maybe that was a place that he might have passed or something? That's what I'm saying. I love all these stories. That's why I would tell everybody, send the stories into me so I could put them in the magazine because people want to know this stuff. They want to experience what you've experienced. Um, that's what I'm saying. Ryan's got some great stories, great
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah, see, that's Ryan. Yeah, Sir Spookfest is Ryan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so he does a great job, and
He's my brother-in-law.
yeah, he told.
He's my sweet little baby nephew's daddy.
So, okay, Leanne says, "Yellow, nice to meet you." Yeah, it's been wonderful to have you on here. And like I said, I always try to promote, smaller channels because I'm a small channel, and I want people to grow like I need to grow and want to grow, and that's why we got to have you guys on. We've got to let people know you're out there. Let them know what you're doing.
And I appreciate it. And now, see, you guys are really making me do stuff now. Now I'm
Yeah,
really gonna
see,
have to do stuff.
See, we put a little fire under her to get her going. So
Okay, I'll do it.
yeah. I just want everybody to please remember to like and subscribe to this channel and go over and subscribe to Kira's channel. Every little bit helps. Like I said, we couldn't do this without you guys. So just, it's free. Go on, go hit those buttons and what you got to do just to show a little support. Part of Ryan is, oh, wait, PM says part of it is Ryan is a good storyteller. Oh, yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is. He really fills you in on the detail, and then that tells you the experience. So it's always a good time to have Ryan on. So I let him get in a few, new investigations under his belt, and then I call him back on the show. Always a good time. So Kira, I look forward to having you on again.
Yes, indeed. I
you know-
appreciate you having me up. This was
Oh,
a great time.
Yeah, it was wonderful. We found out a lot of stuff that we didn't know because you're just getting like the baseline story of the Lizzie Borden case.
Oh, yeah.
And when Ryan said that you had more background on it, definitely I wanted you on because everybody's curious. They want to know what we're not being told, out there unless you really research it. So it really, really helps. Yes, comment after the video too. That helps. It's that YouTube thing. So they have those things where you got to comment and all that. Piggy says, I've enjoyed listening to your stories, Kira.
Thank you.
So wonderful. And thanks, Steph, for putting up her link. And I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight. And of course, I'm going to be on in the morning. We're going to do morning brew. So hopefully you come hang out with your coffee. And we'll see you on the next time. Remember, guys, always remember to live life a little bit